Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to Brown Bag Bets. Powered by BetSports, we are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and this is usually the part of the show where I ask Andy what he's doing this weekend, but I think I know what he is doing this weekend. We will have live boots on the hardwood, if you will, to watch my bearded brethren, James Harden's debut in Minnesota. Everything all right? The weather's good? You going to make it to the Wood Dogs game tonight?
Yeah, no, the weather's fine, and I didn't even notice this, but I went and looked at the email for my ticket again because it was one of these stupid promotions where I think my daughter read 500 minutes of reading in like a month, which is ridiculously low standards to set for our youth, especially with the Minnesota being one of the better school systems in the world. But it's either way, the tickets were unique where she after the game she gets to shoot a free throw on the court. So I guess I can't leave early is what I'm
That's
saying.
so cool.
That is pretty cool. She gets down there. She's worried. Like
I
she's
want to
worried.
go.
She's practicing free throws all day at recess. She says she's not going to play with her friends. She's going to just practice a free throw. She's super worried about airballing it. She's like, "What happens if I make it?" I'm like, I nothing. You
NBA
the same.
contract
Yeah,
immediately.
I told her. I said, "Yeah, you have to hit the road with the squad." But yeah, I said, "Just don't airball it. You know, if the cameras will be on, which they won't." But I got her all worked up, so
I
should be
like it.
fun. I'm excited to see how this works. Before we get into the NBA picks for the day, do you have an opinion on something like this? I know this is maybe a little of a unique situation, but it happens quite a bit. We're going to probably see this eventually with Ben Simmons. We've seen this in previous years where teams trade big name players, even if it's not at the deadline, near the deadline. Like, is there a little bit of a breaking in period? Is there going to be some, I don't know, some discombobulation to the offense at times with some, mixing in a player like this. It isn't a role player that you're like, he's going to play with the twos when we're getting our stars a breather here in the second quarter. It's like this is a big part of what's supposed to be the offense, and I wonder if there's some precedence for that not going well in the first game out.
Yeah, I can't, I'm trying to think of specific examples, but you start to think there's a lot of things you have to take in consideration. A, what kind of player are you bringing onto the team? Is it someone who is a starter, but, might just kind of be plugged in? You're going to shoot, you're going to play defense, kind of do your thing. That's not what James Harden is. He's the guy who has to have the ball in his hands. He's going to be leading a lot of the offense. I think it'll be interesting to see how much he brings the ball up versus Tyrese Maxey, who has really gotten comfortable as a starting point guard there. I also have concerns over Harden's health. He's had a nagging hamstring injury this year, honestly, his entire career. And I wonder again if he's, that's magically healthy. Overall, this is going to be big for the Sixers. The bench has been really short. They've been playing a lot too many minutes for Furkan Korkmaz. Isaiah Joe's been getting some time. So just to have a body and a shooter out there is going to help a bit. But I am expecting things maybe to be a little bit clunky for the Sixers these first couple games. Again, given the position, given my concerns about Harden's health, how much he's going to want to have the ball in his hands, and it should take him a couple games to get things into rhythm, if you will.
Yeah, should be exciting though. Target Center's nice. They did some renovations a few years back. It's a pretty nice arena. All things considered, it is not the Mecca. It is not the Staples Center. It's not called the Staples Center anymore. It's called like some. Is it? Is it
I
some
have no
crypto or
idea.
I can't remember. They renamed it. It's very hard to keep up with all this. I like it when stadiums were just named the Hubert H. Humphrey
Yeah, the
Metrodome for 30
crypto.com
years.
arena.
Oh,
Matt Damon
I
bought
said
it.
some kind of crypto. Literally, the name is crypto.com. So but you didn't bet that. Quick, but again, one more thing before we get to that. Your actual bets. It has been bet out a little. Is that number pretty correct? 2.5 on the road?
Oh,
It,
yes, for the Timberwolves.
yeah.
It's up at 3. Yeah, I thought about playing the Timberwolves. I mean, if you're looking for some action tonight, grab a Timberwolves team total over, something like that. Maybe just hit the money line because if again the Sixers come out slow, it's a little hard to get Harden worked into things. I mean, they're going to struggle to catch up with the Timberwolves team that could come out and just put up a bunch of points. I mean, so look at a Timberwolves team total over if you need some little action to scratch your
Yeah,
itch tonight.
it's kind of exactly what I was getting at. I need to bet on a game if I attend the game. That's how things work. So, all right, I'll get there. And yeah, your team. I think you had one of your team totals got there by the hook last night, and the Pistons total got there by maybe a basket or two. So tight margins in the NBA yesterday. But you're looking at some derivatives today.
Yeah, it's another team total day. Yeah, walking the fine line yesterday. The Bulls win, cover the spread, don't get the team total over for us, but the other two won by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Really like the Spurs tonight. 9 games overall. A couple spots I considered. Maybe a Pacers team total over, but that's a bad idea. The Mavericks have been taking money. I kind of like the Jazz, honestly, now that they're healthy and I've had a little time to, get some rhythm in. But Spurs is one of my favorite spots tonight. They go in to visit Washington, who is still without Bradley Beal, still without Kristaps Porzingis, and is starting Raul Neto, who probably shouldn't even be a backup player in the NBA at this point. I mean, it's just a rough roster for the Wizards here without those guys. And for whatever reason, the market here still seems to be a little behind on the Spurs, who, when healthy, have some dynamic guard play, have a little bit of depth here. I think they can really take advantage of this matchup. I have them 6, almost 7-point favorites. So happy to grab Spurs -3. And then the first quarter look, the Wizards have been slow starting all year. I have the Spurs as 3-point favorites actually here in the first quarter. So we're going to grab them -1. A nice little early first quarter look. Usually I actually don't get to that till the afternoon, but really like that look today. Again, should be a great spot for the Spurs. And then the Magic team total over. The Magic are favored by 4 points, which may seem a little odd to you, but they're playing the Rockets. So somebody, I guess, has to be favored. And you might as well give it to a Magic team that has been playing better, is at home. Wagner has started to get better, Franz. The guards are healthy finally. So it's this kind of sneaky, dynamic, talented team that has a second half of the year where they're playing a lot of bad teams. I have a sneaking suspicion we'll be backing the Magic quite a bit over the next few weeks. See how things go here. But I have them at like 120, 121 points. So team total over 118 or better looks pretty good to me. So go Spurs, go. And hopefully the Magic put up a big number, whether they beat the Rockets or not.
I'm about it. You know I am. I ride, especially the Timberwolves bet because I will be there. It is always, and my daughter knows. Like she fully understands what Daddy does with sports. Like I remember we went to a Twins game last year, and she
Daddy's a
looked at me.
degenerate.
Well, yeah, we went to a Twins game, and she looked at me. She's like, "Which team do you need to win for betting?" And I said, "I would just like both teams to score a lot of runs." And that was what happened. So we did get our over there in the Twins game. I haven't lost a game I've been at in quite a while. I think especially in
Ooh,
baseball, the game
be
before that,
knocking on wood for you.
the baseball game I went to before that was before the pandemic out in San Francisco, and we took the Rays. So kind of riding a hot streak in baseball, not a very hot streak in college basketball. Jesus, I think my day literally started 1-7 in college basketball. It was one of those just kick in the dick days where you just turn the scores off and figure out the damage, check the accounts in the morning. Nothing went right. CLV is not helping me right now, but what are you gonna do? Golf? The golf play I was able to give out on the show yesterday won. I did have three. If you read the article for day one, they went 2-1 total. A couple of easy ones and one that just never really quite got there with Billy Ho playing pretty well. But going back to the well with another Glover play here, Lucas Glover. This one I'm looking. I think they tee off in about an hour. I feel like these are 12:40 Eastern tee time, so about an hour from now, these guys are on on the same team time. I'm assuming a lot of times it's either the same or one tee time after 12:18. So actually, you only have like 40 minutes on this. But Lucas Glover over Michael Thompson. There are a couple Thompsons in the field. One is much worse, but Lucas Glover not known as a good putter of the ball, and he's currently kind of on pace with his putting. His putting is right down there where it normally is, but his tee to green is just great right now in tournament. His ball striking, he's in the top 10 right now for strokes gained, ball striking, top 20 for tee to green. He's playing well until he gets to the green, kind of his MO, but I think he has a little more of a ceiling there. And again, putting isn't sticky, even for a guy who traditionally has been a little bit of a shitty putter throughout maybe a career. Thompson, a better putter, but not something I'm going to rely on with a guy of that caliber. So, looking at it, I think we have a lot more variance for Glover here on the upside. And at this price, I'm taking the better ball striker every time. That's the only play I do have today. It's not like yesterday where I had a couple that already went off by the time that we started doing the show. This is it for the day. Just one golf play, taking it pretty easy. I will look at round three I think once we get through the cut there and they open up some of the different matchups and three balls for Saturday, I'll have some plays out tonight.
Nice and easy on a Friday, and the theme will continue here, Andy, as you get into some tennis. I mean, as you know, tennis is slim pickings on Fridays. It's kind
Yeah.
of the nice part about tennis, especially during NFL season, where it all is early in the week, and then I catch up with NFL later in the week. Whereas now it's just sort of empty. It's just basketball, which that's all good and well, but just one tennis play. Again, Doha is happening right now. The first match finished earlier this morning. Ostapenko finally loses. It happened. Kontaveit got the better of her. The streak ends with just some tremendous tennis. Iga
Activate is running
Swiatek,
hot.
that's right. Iga Swiatek up a set here, and it was down a break, but I'm double checking the score here because it looks a little different than it did a second ago. Maybe she broke back. She did. We are on serve in the second set. Iga, the young Pole, up a set. We'll be curious to see what the line is. If Swiatek is a dog tomorrow in the range of plus 150, which I think we might honestly get a shot at against Kontaveit, I'll be grabbing some of that, but don't have a line for that yet. Guadalajara is this afternoon. We'll finally get to a total I mentioned yesterday. Shmedlova long. Unfortunately, this one's down to 21. Poke around if you can. If you can find under 21 and a half at minus 15 or better, make a play there. If you can find 21 at better than standard juice, it might just be about gone. We got a little CLV there on the half game, but again, look for those numbers. There's generally some people that are behind. Again, Wong has been playing great tennis again. Generally plays through some very short sets here, and the only way, again, knock on wood, that I think this match goes over is if it does go to three sets, which is possible, but again, not too worried about it. The other three matches look pretty interesting. Camila Osorio Serrano, our outright, continues to play well. She's in the quarterfinals here, a short favorite over Kalinskaya. I like her there. Daria, formerly Gavrilova Seville, who got the big win. If you're a Ben fader yesterday, goes against Sloane Stevens as an underdog. Hopefully she can outwork Sloane, maybe a little too tuckered to beat our girl Osorio Serrano next round. And our other outright in the quarterfinals here, Marie Buzkova, a short dog against Sora Bistormo. Thought about backing Buzkova as a dog, but just going to let the outright ride. If you don't have an outright on Buzkova, maybe a half unit play on her at plus 140 or better if you can find it. But just the one official play, the total I mentioned yesterday. And we'll cheer for our two outrights in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, outrights have been fun lately. And if you don't follow Alex on Twitter, you should @ _noops. He has there ever been a WTA tournament that you didn't do outrights on based on something other than I just didn't have time because I'm getting married this week or something silly?
No, I think I haven't did outrights that week. Or I might have actually scheduled it so it was like Davis Cup week or something, or the Billie Jean
You
King
would
Cup as they
schedule
call it
your
now.
wedding around tennis. That's
I'm
awesome.
not entirely sure. I'd have to go back and look, but no, I can't honestly remember the last time. I mean, I generally, I wish I had more time to do formal previews for some of the bigger events. I'll actually do a full on write up. But yeah, I mean, tennis outrights, that's what you do. It kind of pays the bills a little bit. So
No,
get you
I
do it.
I I thoroughly enjoy having like that's it's almost the same as golf, like having a golf outright. Even better though. I mean, those tournaments, golf is 4 days, tennis tournaments last 6. So, or in the case of majors, a fortnight. Oftentimes they'll say a fortnight rather than 2 weeks for some reason, but no, I thoroughly enjoy sweating it outright over the course of a few days. It's a lot more fun than I still bet tennis day to day because I know so many people who have good picks, and I tail a lot of that, and I play some of my own in the ATP. But the outrights are just way more fun for me.
It is. It's fun. You got a name for the week. Again, the bracket element of tennis is a lot of fun. We don't do too many bracket challenges in our little tennis group anymore, but it's just a pretty fun setup. But we'll move on. We're going to keep hitting singles here, Andy, aren't we?
Yeah, this is weird. Everything is just one. And I mean, same as what you said for tennis. It's Friday. How does a bracket work? It gets smaller as the week goes on. There's fewer games. Like that's just math. Same thing here. There's just not a lot of games today on Friday. Like there's a light slate of college basketball. I have two bonus picks that I didn't play yet. I'm tempted because I've been tracking this late season system that is just lunacy, but it's hitting very high at a very very high clip right now. So it's kind of stuff. Yeah, Montana. Everything was brutal last night, but Montana +6 was tough. They were up by like 12 and a half. Bad second half from a lot of teams. Glad the last two totals got there to salvage something, but just one tonight. St. Louis over 142. This actually got bet down, and I don't give a shit. I will be the buyback. I will buy at the low point here. I was willing to play this at 143. I will play it at 142. St. Louis versus Richmond in an Atlantic 10 tilt. They're both very good offenses. They both run a fair pace, and I have this closer to 150 somehow. I mean, I think it was like 148 and change is where I have this total, and I don't know. Maybe my total stuff is truly broken, but neither team, especially Richmond. Richmond is great about not turning the ball over. They're able to have a lot of continuity to their possessions. St. Louis is great about offensive rebounds. They get a lot of second chances at looks. Both teams shoot the ball well. Both teams shoot the ball well enough from three. Really, St. Louis is a much better three-point shooting team. But again, I have this total quite a bit higher than the posted total, and I will be just playing that one tonight. Maybe even a little tickle on the first half overs. I'm guessing it's going to be first halves are you always hear the old timers talk about this. The first half way back in the day for this used to be just 71 when they first started doing that thing.
Oh,
And old timers would just bet the under in every single first half until the books figured things out. Because the first half of this is likely 67, 68. I'm guessing it always is tilted a little towards the second half. So maybe a couple bets on that. And then yeah, there is something to the late season massive favorites, at especially the ones at home, where they are like a 15-point favorite. And my model shows there's a couple other things about it that I'm not going to get into because it's complicated and I don't fully understand if it actually makes sense. Uh, but I track these sort of things. And like yesterday, it was the games. I'm trying to look at where the games were yesterday. If I want to scroll up a little, oh, there we go. So like UC Riverside minus 11 and a half. I think they won by a million. The BYU game where they were up by 20 when I went to bed. At Abilene Christian minus 17. I think they won by like 35. There's something to be said for, and I think there's actually some narrative or however you want to build it, something that backs it up where these really bad teams don't have a lot to play for. And just the specific games I've been tracking have hit at a pretty high clip. So if you want a couple of fun ones where you're going to be losing against the spread by like 15 points when it kicks off, it would be Iona minus 15 and San Diego State minus 21 and a half tonight. So I will be playing those lightly, just because I'm having fun with this little
some
system, but
sprinkles.
it's just some sprinkles on there if you want to get weird with it. And I didn't do much golf or soccer today just because my guy couldn't score yesterday and it pissed me off. But the Hef says AC Milan to win to nil and Southampton, both teams to score this afternoon for him. So some user picks from longtime
I like it.
YouTube commenter the Hef. And that's the weekend, Alex. What do you got?
Just gonna watch the Sixers game tonight. Very excited to see what Mr. Harden does, and that'll be it. Depending on how that goes, the weekend will be interesting.
I'll wear this pink sweatshirt so maybe you can see me. That'll be my thing. I don't have a jersey. Whatever.
You'll figure
See
it
you
out. I'm
guys.
not too worried.
Hit the thumbs up. Check you over. Have a good weekend. See you guys. Win your bets. Bye.